What is up, y'all? Welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. This is my review of Iyanla Fix My Life. Don't know what episode it is. The episodes, I don't know. When I go on to own.com, the episodes are different than what's... Anyways, this is Iyanla Fix My Life. You know it's Saturday, so we got to get into it. This is another heavy episode. Before we get into this episode, do not forget to subscribe. Do not forget to click the little bell so you can be updated on when I post new videos. And do not forget to follow me on social media. Alright, church announcements before we even start. Okay, I've been getting a lot of questions about my hair. A lot of questions about my hair color. You can see it's blonde now. I did film a video, so I have to edit the video. But give me some time. I will edit the video. I'll post it. It was a fail. Turned into a... whatever. It turned into this. It's a long process. Nothing for you to follow. But I'm just showing you how I got from fail to something. To this. Okay. So I'm going to post that as soon as I can. Okay. So we start off with Monique and her mother Cynthia. And the backstory behind Monique and... well, backstory behind Monique. Monique was molested as a child, which is very common. Very common. It's very common in our community. She was molested as a child, and her mother was not really there. Her mother was in prison. Her mother was not really emotionally and physically there to protect her daughter. So Monique is dealing with some issues with that. Monique and Cynthia come in, and Cynthia looks like she gives the best fucking hugs. The way she hugged Iyanla, it was like, I felt it. I felt the warmth of her hug. I don't know if that sounds creepy or not, but I felt it. I felt her hug. I don't know. Anyway, Cynthia comes in, blue hair. You can tell that, you know, even though someone doesn't look a certain way, you can tell that, you know, Cynthia's a lesbian. I mean, Cynthia's a, you know, she's a lesbian, okay? I don't want to say, because I don't know what words are derogatory. So, Cynthia's a lesbian. And as soon as Monique walked in, you can see the fear on her face. You can see that she was very unsure about what was going on, about what was going to happen, about... she seems like she's the type of person that always has... I don't know how to explain it. She always has some sort of worry about her. The first thing Iyanla does is sit down with Monique, because Monique is the daughter, so she wanted to kind of get more of a perspective of what was going on. And plus, Monique was the one that rolled into the show. So Monique, as soon as she sat down, Monique started to cry. Like, Monique, just the burden of all of this is weighing on her. And she just immediately started to cry. So she told Iyanla, like, when she grew up, she was introduced to sex at a very early age. She was introduced to it at 6 years old. Her mom had her and then went to jail. So she was with her. She went to her grandmother once her mom went to jail, and then her grandmother couldn't take care of her, and she put her up for she put her in foster care, which I think is kind of... I understand it, because as for some odd reason in the black community, a lot of parents, especially back in the 80s, because I guess the drug epidemic, a lot of grandparents ended up raising their grandkids. And she said that she was molested. They blacked out who it was, but I'm assuming it was somebody in the foster care, the foster family that she got with. Somebody there molested her. So she said that happened at 6 years old, and she never told anybody. She never told anybody because she didn't know how to tell anybody what happened. Apparently, the person that was molesting her added somebody else, and they started molesting her as well. They would take her down to the basement and do whatever to this child. So she was introduced as sex at a very young age. And transparency. Okay, so when she was talking about this, I started kind of digging back into my childhood, because at a very young age, I was aware of sex. When I say at a very young age, like at 3, 4 years old, I like boys. At 7, 8, I was watching porn. I was very aware of sex. I don't remember if anything ever happened to me as a child as to which I, developed this kind of sexual awareness so young. I don't know. But it kind of reminded me of when she said that. It reminded me of when I was growing up. And I'm wondering, like, okay, I kind of knew that me being so knowledgeable kind of about sex was not normal for somebody my age. So I don't know if I was just advanced or something happened. I don't know. But it kind of made me think about something like that, because at that young of an age, I shouldn't be thinking about shit like that. But Monique remembers that this happened to her, and she is just, the emotions are bubbling up inside of her because she did not feel protected by her mother, by anybody. She didn't know why her mother was gone. She didn't know, she didn't know what to do. So she started being very promiscuous. I wouldn't even say promiscuous, but she just started, because the sex was always something that happened to her as far as molestation. She felt like sex was the quickest way to find love. At 12 years old, she got pregnant. She started fucking with some dude who was 21 years old. Well, he started fucking with her because that was rape. But she got pregnant at 12 years old. And, Iyanla asked her, what did he say to you that made you do anything with him? And she said that he told me that he loved me. And that's all she wanted. All she wanted was to feel love, because she didn't feel it from her mom. She didn't feel it from her foster family. She didn't feel it anywhere. All she wanted to do was feel loved. And he told her that he loved her, and that was the simplest thing for her to acknowledge. And she had sex with him, got pregnant a month later, and she had an abortion. She said that her friend's mom took her to get the abortion. And Iyanla asked her, like, how did you get the money? She said that she had to prostitute herself. At 12 years old, this baby prostituted herself to get enough money to have an abortion. She said that there was this older man in the neighborhood that was attracted to her, 12 years old. He said that he wanted to be with her, and she said, if you want something, you got to give something. So she had sex with him, and he gave her money for the abortion. And that's how that happened. And I was like, 12 years old, this girl is going through all of this stuff, and nobody has a clue. Nobody even gives a fuck enough to even realize that this girl is going through so much shit. Nobody cared enough to make sure that this girl is protected. Her relationship with Cynthia is not the healthiest. Like I said, Cynthia wasn't there. So all her life she felt unwanted, alone, like nobody loved her. She didn't even love herself. You can tell, like, her self-esteem is so low. And you can tell that she just hates herself. She's just not comfortable in who she is, in her being. And Iyanla took her in front of the reflection mirror or whatever, and there was some words written on this mirror. And it basically chronicled her life as a victim, as a woman, as a child, the abuse, the molestation, the abortions, the low self-esteem. And she looked at the mirror and just started crying. And the one thing that Iyanla said, you never mentioned this, and I found out about it. The one thing she never mentioned while she was sitting on this couch with Iyanla, baby girl has cervical cancer. Okay? She found out a year prior that she had cancer. But she never went back to the doctor. She never got treatment. She never did anything, because she has this mindset of, if I don't think about it, it's not going to affect me. Just like, the molestation. After a while, these things start bubbling up. She keeps it to herself. She doesn't think about it. Inside, it's rooting, it's bubbling, it's going to overflow. And this is the time that the molestation, all that stuff is overflowing, because things you cannot keep inside for too long. It's going to spill out. As far as the cancer, she never talked. She don't want to talk about it with nobody. She didn't want to go back to hear what the doctors had to say, because she felt like, if I don't think about it, if I don't deal with it, it's not gonna affect me. So Iyanla decided that she was going to have Monique go to a doctor to get checked. So Monique went off to the doctor. All right, so Iyanla sits down with Cynthia, and Cynthia is, she doesn't have the best relationship with her daughter. They always argue, Cynthia said. They always get into arguments because they don't understand each other. So Iyanla brings Cynthia to the mirror right away, and Cynthia just breaks down crying because there's a lot of things on this mirror that is, it's very hard to watch for her. There's abandonment, there's a horrible mother, there's prison, there's drugs, there's drug use, there's drug selling. There's all kinds of things that's on Cynthia's mirror that is reflecting back to her. As she sits down with Iyanla, Cynthia admits that she was a horrible mother to her kids, and she was very selfish because she was out there selling drugs and just being in the streets and not paying attention to her kids. Iyanla wanted to know what was her life like growing up, and Cynthia said her mom left. Her mom left. She wasn't there. She left her with her grandmother. And a year later, she was adopted. And she said that life with her grandmother was hard. She said her grandmother beat her constantly. For things that she didn't even do, her grandmother would beat the shit out of her with extension cords and whatever else. Her grandmother would beat her. And let me pause for a second. One thing in the black community that we grew up on, they don't do that a lot now because kids call CPS. But back in the day, a lot of parents would beat you with whatever they found. Race car track, broom, extension cord, phone cord. We got beat so bad, and back then it seemed normal, to the point where now parents who grew up getting that kind of abuse, because it was abuse, getting that kind of abuse, thinks that, they should implement that shit on their kids. That is abuse, okay? Parents back then were abusing us. You don't hit no 6-year-old with no fucking extension cord. You don't do that, okay? But parents back then felt like discipline was the best way to be. A lot of people that got disciplined like that shit continued doing worse shit because all they were doing was getting beat. She said that she was getting beat for no apparent reason at all, for things that she didn't even do. Okay? She said that at the age of 6 or 7, she was molested as well. So, you see the pattern. Monique got molested at 6 years old. The mom got molested at 7 years old. Cynthia said that she feels alone a lot of the time. You can tell that she doesn't really open up a lot about what went on with her life. She said that she wanted to hurt people as much as they hurt her. And you can tell she's also like Monique. She is suffering inside. She is very emotional. And Monique actually said the same words, that she wanted to hurt people as much as they hurt her. Because Monique is angry. Monique is angry not only with the people who harmed her, but with herself. Iyanla then asked Cynthia, what happened when you got pregnant with Monique? How did that go? Apparently Cynthia was in a relationship with someone, and the person was abusive, and the person beat her a lot. And Cynthia ended up, I guess, meeting up with Monique's father. This was somebody that she went to high school with. They were kicking it one night, started drinking, and they had sex, and a month later she got pregnant. She found out that she was pregnant. Same thing as Monique. Monique said when she was 12, she met this man. He was 21 years old. She had sex. A month later, she found out that she was pregnant. So these women are living the same life, but don't even know it. So Cynthia said when she found out that she was pregnant and her partner found out, which was a woman, her partner would beat the fuck out of her. Like, beat her with anything she could find, she would beat her with it. And Cynthia said, I was 19. I didn't know where else to go. I had nowhere else to go. I had no family. I had no friends. I didn't know where to go. And she said, I was so used to being abused by her grandmother or whatever. She stayed because it was normal. It was a normal occurrence for her. So Iyanla sits down with Cynthia and Monique together, and she was basically telling them that they were both saying the same thing. That they both said exactly that they wanted to hurt the people that hurt them. And how they feel alone a lot of the times. And it was time for Cynthia, well no, I'm sorry. It was time for Monique to tell her mother, speak to her mother like a woman. Not like she's your mother. Have a woman-to-woman talk with her mother. And Monique, I keep saying Cynthia. Monique said that she was molested at 6. Cynthia had no clue. This is when my tears started, okay? This is when I started to cry because Cynthia had no clue that this happened to Monique. And then when she asked her, I guess they bleeped it out, but I guess she asked her, was it with the foster people? And Monique said yes. And Cynthia was bawling. She got up. She just could not believe that it happened to her daughter. The same thing that happened to her happened to her daughter. She is bawling. She asked, why didn't you tell me? And Monique said, I couldn't tell anybody. I didn't feel like I could tell anybody. She started to hug on Monique, and you know, she's just like rocking her back and forth, just making sure that her daughter feels her, holding her. And Monique started to explain what was going on. She said, you know, such and such would take her to the basement. She would use her fingers and whatever else, her tongue, whatever, and do that to Monique. And then she would take her to somebody else's house, and then that person would then molest her as well. And she said that was going on while she was living there and everything like that. And it was crazy. So Cynthia is holding Monique, and she's telling her, you know, I'm glad you told me. I'm here. Everything is going to be okay. I got you. I'm not going anywhere. And it's good to see Monique and Cynthia embrace, because most of the time when they were sitting, they were kind of distant from each other. Like, they weren't close. They were very distant. Like me, if I sit next to my mama, I'm up under my mama. So they were kind of sitting apart, and it was good to see them kind of embrace each other, and just being able to see her being rocked by her mother, because that's all she really needed. That's all she really wanted, was to be accepted by somebody. All right, so it's day 2, and Iyanla and Monique are sitting with Iyanla, Monique, and Cynthia are sitting together, and they started. Iyanla wanted Monique to know more about her mother. And Monique, you know, started to say that, you know, she was abused by her grandmother. And that's all she knew was abuse. And she got into a relationship and got pregnant with Monique. And her partner would beat her with brooms, stick brooms up in her, stick all kinds of stuff up in her, basically to kill Monique. Because, you know, you're in a lesbian relationship, and you go out and fuck some dude, get pregnant of, you know, the partner, you know, chances are is jealous. Now, she can't do what he can do. You went out and got that, and now you're bringing this baby into my house. And she got jealous, and she said it was like she was trying to kill Monique, and she said that she would beat her so bad. Monique got upset and really kind of started like screaming at her mother, why would you let somebody beat you? And I'm like, okay, Monique, you need to calm your little ass down. I understand that you are upset, but you can't come at her, at 51-year-old Cynthia, because of something 19-year-old Cynthia endured. Okay, Cynthia endured something. She had no other way. She had no other tools. Cynthia started selling drugs, started using drugs, whatever the case may be. She was just as damaged as you were at 19. So I understand that you are upset with her, but you cannot berate a 51-year-old woman for the shit she did at 19. You just can't do that. She said she had no other way. She had no family, no friends. She had nowhere to go. She was just trying to survive. And the woman was like beating her to the point where, I mean, she knew no better She grew up being abused. She grew up being a punching bag for people. So she's in this relationship with this woman doing the same thing. She find that to be normal. So Monique jumping on her, and I kind of didn't like that Iyanla was telling Cynthia to not get defensive because of Monique going on like that with her. I didn't like that. I felt like Monique needed to kind of pipe the hell down, because you made some mistakes as well as a young person. And I understand that that's your mama and she was pregnant with you, but at 19, she was just a child herself. She was not raised by anybody. She had no mother to mother her. She didn't know what the fuck she was doing, and you didn't know what the fuck you were doing. So I didn't really like that Iyanla didn't check Monique, but Cynthia was trying to explain to her, and Monique was kind of like upset about it. So I didn't really like that. So they were able to, apologize to each other, accept and heal. So that was pretty good. They got back in front of the mirror. They were able to erase some of the things that they were feeling within themselves. But, a lot of the things that were, as far as the abuse and everything like that, this is something that they can't erase, but they can move forward from it. So apparently on the last day on day 2, on the last day, they got the results back from the doctor. So Monique and Cynthia met outside with Iyanla and Dr. Netta, whatever her name is. And she said that she got the results from Monique's doctor. And when Monique went to get the testing for the cervical cancer a year ago, they found not traces, what is it? They found things that could cause cervical cancer in her, and they took some biopsies or samples. I really don't remember, but they took something to test it, and she doesn't have cancer. So all this time she's walking around for a year thinking that she has cancer, and because she did not go back to the doctor, she did not realize that she didn't have cancer. She said that once the doctors told her cervical cancer, she didn't go back. The doctor told her that she, I guess, was predisposed to it, but she didn't hear that part. So she does not have cancer, which is a good thing. So hopefully that she continues going back to the doctor and getting checked and stuff like that, because you don't want to sit on something like that for a year, 2, and then one day drop down dead. You just don't want to do that. So all in all, Cynthia and Monique are learning how to communicate better with each other, and they are working on building their relationship as mother and daughter, as women. So it was a good episode. Like I said, it was I got emotional, y'all. I got emotional when Cynthia found out that Monique got molested at 6. Cynthia's reaction just kind of took me out. But yeah, let me know your thoughts about the episode. What did you take away from it? What did you learn from it? Let me know down below. If you have any questions, my throat hurt. Ooh. If you have any questions, also let me know down below. Do not forget to subscribe, and I will talk to you guys. Oh, one more thing. My website, justbeher.com, will be back on February 11th. February 11th. Right now, I am doing a giveaway. I will leave all of that below. I am doing a giveaway of a tea because it's Valentine's month. It's also Black History Month, and I want to come up with some Black History stuff, but this is the Valentine's giveaway, so I designed a tea for self-love and acceptance of oneself and such and so forth. So I will leave all that below, how you can enter the giveaway. It's not a lot to do. It's not a lot to enter. But, enter the giveaway, and then 2 people have the opportunity to win this tea. So if you want to enter, I will leave all that stuff below. But anyway, guys, I will see you guys in my next video. We'll be back next week for Iyanla. Next week look pretty good. Next week looks pretty good. Okay, it's with a man and his daddy done killed the boy's mama, and it looks good. So we're gonna be back for that. But if you have any questions, let me know, and I'll talk to you guys in my next video. Bye.